Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Islamic or Sharia law. Today we are starting inheritance and testament. It is session number 14. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani wa yafqahu qawli. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Testament. It is enjoined upon every Muslim to make a testament as regards his bequest before he dies. The last will ought to cover the entire property and all persons to whom he wants to give something without any distinction of heir or non-heir. As said in Ayah 2-180, it has been enjoined upon you that when you approach death and you are leaving behind your personal property, make a testament according to law for your parents and others close to you. This has been enjoined upon muttaqeen as a duty from Allah. The distribution of leftover property shall take place after the provision of the will have been fulfilled, as said in Ayah 4-11. Note that this verse starts with the words "you are commanded" and ends with the words that it has been made incumbent upon those who guard the divine law. Moreover, the will shall be for the entire property. The verse also clarifies that the will can also be made for parents and near relatives and also for non relatives whom the testator considers nearer to himself. 2. The Quran has given so much importance to the making of will that even minute details of it have been prescribed. The following verses of Surah Al-Ma'idah, 5th chapter of Quran, invite pondering as it said in Ayah 5-106 to 108. O you who believe, when death approaches any of you, take witnesses amongst yourselves while making testament. Two just men of your own brethren or others from outside, if you are journeying through the land and your own men are not available and the chance of death befalls you. Afterwards, when witnesses are needed, your judge shall detain them in the mosque after prayers, because mosques are your courtrooms. If you doubt their truth, let them both swear by Allah. We wish not to take in this any worldly gains, even if the beneficiary be our near relative. We shall not hide evidence before Allah. If we do, we shall become censurable. If after the witness has been recorded, it is found that they have deviated from the truth, two witnesses from among those against whom the witness has been given should come forward and upon an oath in the name of Allah state that their statement is truer than the previous witnesses, and that they shall not deviate a bit from the truth, and if they do, they shall be liable to censure. In divine law, witness over witness is allowed, so as to make certain that they speak the truth. By so doing, the first two witnesses shall fear that in case they give false evidence, the other two witnesses shall prove it to be wrong, and thus they shall become guilty of the perjury, and this shall also bring them shame in society. It is necessary for you to remain conscious of the divine law, and do not forget that deviating from the course set out by divine law and treading upon some other course, it shall not lead you to the goal. It has been strongly emphasized that the witnesses shall not make a change in the contents of the testament. As said in Ayah 2-181, If anyone changes the content of the will after hearing it, such people shall be guilty in the eyes of law, and they ought to know that Allah hears and knows everything. It is further stated that in Ayah 2-182, but if anyone fears partiality or wrongdoing on the part of the testator and thinks that he is inclined towards someone unjustly, he should advise the testator to do the right thing and bring about compromise between the parties concerned so as to protect those whose rights are being encroached. There is no wrong in doing so. To make a room for it in the divine law is clemency, that is rahmat from Allah. But it is obvious that this shall only be an attempt for making compromise. Otherwise, the final word shall be that of the testator. 3. In the case of a widow, in addition to her share in the bequest, it is necessary that providing of maintenance for a year be included in the will. As said in Ayah 2-240, those of you who die leaving widows behind should bequeath that their widows be provided a year's maintenance and not turned out of their houses. But if the widows leave the residence and make some other lawful arrangement for themselves, there is no blame on you for what they do. Remember that the divine law is very powerful, yet it is based on wisdom. Inheritance. Death is imminent and can come any time. It can come during childhood or when grown up or after becoming old. One may be married or maybe not. He or she has to die on one day and most probably leaving years behind. Since the stages change according to the time, a person's responsibility also gets changed. Men have their responsibilities and women have their. So it is necessary to find the right dividends for the right years, but it is extremely hard to determine these dividends without the help of Allah. Allah has already mentioned in the Quran dealing with all these issues categorically and in great detail. You know, you know not which of them is the nearer to you in usefulness. This is an ordinance from Allah. Surely Allah is knowing, wise. Al Quran, Ayah 4-11. Islamic Sharia law stipulates how the estate of a Muslim is to be dealt with and distributed after his or her death. The rules described here reflect the commandments of Allah according to the Quran. Some differences or variations may be adopted under the Hanfi, Malaki, Shafi, or Hanbali schools. Knowledge of mathematics. To understand these calculations, you must know the middle school mathematics, which are not complex as of university level or even as of high school level mathematics. For example, one of the bases of inheritance is male gets 2/3 and female gets 1/3, although 2/3 plus 1/3 is equal to 1. Looks perfect, but you cannot exactly divide 100 or $150 equally among the male and females. So there are many cases in which you may need to deal with the prime numbers, for example 89, which are only divisible by 1 or by itself. Islamic inheritance law are based on complete Quran and are not limited to few verses only and answers perfectly to deal with all those cases. Presently, with the help of science and especially the computers, it became more easier to search many things and find the answers more easily ever than before. Hold the division of the inheritance in case the wife of the deceased could be pregnant. And the divorced woman should keep themselves in waiting for 3 courses, and it is not lawful for them that they should conceal what Allah has created in their wombs. If they believe in Allah, and the last day, and their husbands have a better right to take them back in the meanwhile if they wish for reconciliation, and they have rights similar to those against them in a just manner, and the men are a and a men are a degree with them, and men are a degree above them, and Allah is mighty and wise. Al Quran, ayah 2-228. From the above ayah, it is very clear that the main purpose of the iddat is to wait and see if she is pregnant or not. Waiting is variable according to cases. Also, it is advised that people should not hold the division of the inheritance in case the wife of the deceased could be pregnant. In this way, we also will come to know if she delivers the boy, boys, or the girls. To understand the logic of Islamic inheritance law, we need to keep in our mind the following ayat from Quran. If one gets booty, pay a fifth of share to the relatives and orphans, etc. And know that out of all booty that you may acquire in war, a fifth share is assigned to Allah and to the Messenger, and to near relatives, orphans, the needy, and wayfarer. If you do believe in Allah and in the revelation we sent down to our servant on the day of testing, the day of meeting of two forces. For Allah hath power over all things. Al Quran, ayah 8-41. If one gets produced of gardens or farm, pay the due. And he is who produces gardens, trellised and untrellised, and palms and seed produce, of which the fruits are of various sorts, and olives and pomegranates, like and unlike. Eat of its fruit when it bears fruit, and pay the due of it on the day of its reaping. And do not act extravagantly, surely he does not love the extravagant. Al Quran, ayah 6-141. If one earns, pay the due. O you who believe, spend benevolently of the things that you earn, and are what we have what we have brought forth for you out of the earth. And do not aim at what is bad, that you may spend in alms of it, while you would not take it yourself unless you have its price lowered. And know that Allah is self sufficient, praiseworthy. Al Quran, ayah 2-267. How much to spend? And they ask you as to what they should spend, say that which is superfluous in excess. Thus does Allah make clear to you the communications that you may ponder. Al Quran, ayah 2-219. Will. A Muslim must make a will in favor of his specified as well as non specified heirs. When death approaches, in case of accidental death of the remainder of the estate after will, should be divided among the heirs according to the Quran. If any do fail to judge by the light of what Allah hath revealed, they are unbelievers. Al Quran, ayah 5-44. It is decreed that when death approaches, you shall write a will for the benefit of the parents, specified heirs, and relatives, specially as well as non specified heirs, equitably. This is a duty upon the righteous. Al Quran, ayah 2-180. And those of you who die and leave wives behind, make a bequest in favor of their wives, specified here, of maintenance for a year without turning them out. Then, if they themselves go away, there is no blame on you for what they do of lawful deeds of themselves. And Allah is mighty, wise. Al Quran, ayah 2-240. Close relatives from where you can eat, and vice versa. If you can eat from someone's house, then they can do so. There is no blame on the blind man, nor is there blame on the lame, nor is there blame on the sick, nor on yourselves that you eat from your houses, or your father's houses, or your mother's houses, or your brother's houses, or your sister's houses, or your paternal uncle's houses, or your paternal aunt's houses, or your maternal uncle's houses, or your maternal aunt's houses, or what you possess the keys of, or your friends' houses. It is no sin in you that you eat together or separately. So when you enter the houses, greet your people with a salutation from Allah, blessed and goodly. Thus does Allah make clear to you the communication that you may understand. Al Quran, Ayah 2-61. You must give due to your relatives as well, and give to the relatives his due, to the needy and the wayfarer, and do not squander wastefully. Al Quran, Ayah 7-17-26. Then give to the near of the kin his due, and the needy and the wayfarer. This is best for those who desire Allah's pleasure, and these it is who successful. Al Quran, Ayah 30-38. We must need to think of orphans, and let those fear who should they leave behind them weakly offspring, would fear on their account. So let them be careful of their duty to Allah, and let them speak right words. Al Quran, Ayah 4-9. It is advised to announce the day of distribution of the heirs among close as well as far relatives. If any of them are not present without any valid reason, or have no interest in getting some from the inheritance, then we may proceed without them, and their share may be excluded. One of the great wisdom in the following ayat is that it did not mention any exact figure of share for the other relatives. Our charity could be that we might need to deal with the prime numbers or other numbers which are not divisible among the heirs. So choice is totally left upon us so that we can balance it. And when there are present alive at the division, the far relatives and orphans among relatives as well, and the needy among relatives as well, give them something out of it, and speak to them kind words. Al Quran, Ayah 4-8. Ladies and gentlemen, here we conclude this session, and inshallah, we will continue further on the same topic, that is, inheritance and testament, in the next session. Let's pray from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants us the wisdom and understanding about Holy Quran, Sunnah, and about Sharia law and Islamic law. And He also gives us courage and strength to apply these rules and laws on ourselves, our cultures, societies, countries, and world as a whole. May Allah be our best guide and protector, and bestows upon us whatever is best suited for us. Ladies and gentlemen, please take care of yourselves, your families, kith and kins, and your environment as a whole. Inshallah, till next session. Allah Hafiz.